Hey, housewives.
Hey, housewives.
Welcome back to season 4.
I mean, it's actually just kind of welcome, isn't it? Because welcome back to the Unlikely Housewives. Congratulations, you've made it to season 4.
Or you're brand new.
Yes, and if that's the case, welcome to the chaos. We're happy to have you.
It is chaos.
It is. I saw a shirt yesterday at the softball fields. It said meltdown manager.
Oh, that's better than chaos coordinator.
Yeah. I like that one. And we have so many different titles and hats that we all wear.
We do.
But this is fun because this is a new season.
Mm-hmm.
And right before we got on here, we were discussing about our theme that goes throughout this entire podcast, and recite it with us. We're not who we used to be, and that's okay.
We are in a constant transition and phase.
Let's
and
use transformation. That transition
is not a good word in the culture today.
It's not. I was at a meeting and somebody said, "Okay, so my girlfriend's in this transition," and he paused, and I was like, "Finish that sentence. Like we need to know the context of what transit." And he goes, job transition.
We really do have to just make sure that, all things are explained in context.
Yes. Well, and words have been very much
manipulated.
Yes. Given new definitions.
So back to our change.
Yes. We're here.
And our lives are constantly changing, especially as mothers.
Right.
And new school year has started. We're kind of finding our groove.
Okay. And
we're not in our groove.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting in there. Okay. So you have got youngest in 4th grade.
Yeah. So she just started last week, though. So that's like we're just finally in.
Right.
We're getting there.
Right. Because she's in the Montessori style. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then you have 2 middle schoolers, 1 high schooler.
Yes.
And then...
So 3 schools.
3 schools, and then they're all in sports.
Yes.
How many different sports are you in right now?
They each only have... just kidding. They really do each only have one outside of school. And then my 7th grade boy is actually running cross country for the school, which thankfully is only like 6 weeks maybe. So thankfully it's like a short thing.
You're still in 4 sports.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's 4 kids. They each get one.
We've got, we're now 4th grade and 5th grade. Mm-hmm. And we swore by the 1 sport rule. But here
but you fell victim.
Yes, exactly. Sucker. So they both play volleyball on the same team. Thank goodness. God bless you, Coach.
Yeah, that is a blessing of you having those girls so close in age.
Oh my gosh, I cannot imagine. Like we're already dreading like when they split.
Yeah,
elementary,
middle.
Mm-hmm. And we're like, okay, can I don't know what it's going to look like. But yeah, so there was a same volleyball team, so that's 1 less game a week and 1 less practice a week. But then we've also got softball, which Andrew is one of the head coaches for, and then we have got flag football for E, which is a new one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's 4 sports for you.
Yeah. 3 sports. But
volleyball, softball, flag football.
Yeah.
Wait, so you did drop gymnastics.
Oh, that was the high. Okay. For all of you that have been following the gymnastics saga, yes, we finally got out of gymnastics. Andrew and I were elated. I mean, this is a sport. We loved watching E do gymnastics. And if she loved it and wanted to go, fantastic, all about it. But I mean, it was so time consuming with the 3-hour practices 2 to 3 times a week. Yeah. And then a 4-hour competition.
So much.
Much.
Those gymnasts and those dancers.
For the 2 minutes. 2 minutes. That's what you're there for 4 hours. You get 2 minutes. Swim meet moms. God bless you too. Right? I have no idea how you do it. Like that's another one that I'm like, let's hold on. But yeah, I mean, Andrew at one point did offer Emsley, this is how much he wanted her out of it, $1,000 to quit gymnastics.
Nope, I'm not going to say that sentence.
Okay, that's fine.
No, I was going to say, what could I do for Andrew to offer me
$1,000?
Nope.
That's okay.
Inappropriate, Tracy.
But that is I'm glad you said it, so I didn't. But yes, I'll give you a list of things.
What to do or not to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So thankfully she forgot that offer was on the table. When so
maybe
here
I
we
should
are.
remind her.
Yeah, no, let's not. I'll split the money with you. But yeah, it is a crazy season here at the end of 2024. Man,
I know.
it's already just, wow.
Yeah, it's hard. I think you wake up one day and you send your kids to school and you think, oh, okay, things are going to slow down. At least moms do that are, they're like, okay, routine is good. And then all of a sudden it's just so much more when you have to do school lunches and meals on the table and the, practices after school.
And where does the homework fit in?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because that's
Projects.
a priority.
And I mean,
I just got a message too. The emails, that's another thing. Oh, and I will talk about emails and how my life is so much better with emails in just a little bit.
Yes, let's talk about that.
But all the emails from all the teachers and all the kids in schools and everything, I got one and was like, you need to buy this type of clay, or you need to buy the ingredients for this molding clay. You have to make the clay, and then the project has to be made out of this clay. And I was like, okay, this is for middle school. I'm like, that's not what I want to be doing on the weekends.
No. And I'm all for, one, hands-on learning.
Amen. Me too.
All for that. Two, I'm also for homework and doing things outside of school. Like, I think that is good. I think the repetition is good. But I don't need to do a diorama and a book report for every single quarter or every 6 weeks.
So glad we're over the book report phase of life.
Gosh,
So thankful.
But
yeah.
Yay, book reports. Although I am excited because E's teacher said that there are creative ways for each book report. And he has given the option that if your child is if your kid opts out of the, not a creative kid, they can do a 1-page summary of the book. And I'm like, I'm in.
A book report should be.
Right. Well, but I'm excited about this because I have a feeling, just because I know my child, there might be some procrastination, till the night before at 11. I'm like, great. You know what? Good news. You can write a 1-page summary and then still turn it in. And I think that's going to be a lesson we learn. So
you're all about those lessons.
I am. Let's learn now while the fall is a lot shorter to the ground.
That is true.
And
yep,
mom and dad
that's the fun job of parenting, is letting your kids fail.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. We're in that phase big time, relationally failing in friendships and things.
Yeah,
and having to learn. I heard the other day, and I think it was on K-Love, because that's always on in my car, that in order to have good friends, you need to be a good friend. And I really loved that.
That's good.
I was like, yeah, I mean, it is a two-way street, friendship. I mean, granted, there's some that are, more than others, but I absolutely loved that. I thought that's a good conversation starter with kids around all these friendship
I also
issues.
think now a good conversation, especially as we're getting into the middle school age, is that not every friend has to be a best friend.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And as an adult, I have different relationships with different friends.
Yeah.
You're the person that I call or voice message for when XYZ happens. My best friend, Jess, for 30 plus years. I mean, her and I cannot talk for absolute months and then pick up the phone and talk for 2 hours, and it's like we never left.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and then there's the friends where I message and say, hey, you alive?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Just
Me
checking. Yeah. Just checking on you, making sure you're still floating. All right. If you need me, I'm here. And I think that's a lesson that kids need to learn at an earlier age because, I mean, who needs 17 bridesmaids?
Well, I think that, in talking about friends, I think it's important because mamas, as our lives change and as our kids change, our friendships change. And I used to be so just upset when a friendship would quote unquote end. And we know that most of them don't just end, like something happens in the end. It's like just distance happens in parts and then, time. And I think so many of those happened after the pandemic. And then you're like, wait, where did that person go? Did I do something wrong? And in all actuality, nope, you probably didn't. They probably just started living their life a little bit differently, as did you, and your paths didn't cross anymore.
Right.
People come into your lives all the time. And I don't know if that's like my new realization this summer with having gone off social media. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. But it really is this whole having friends really becomes, okay, what's the purpose? Obviously, there's a lot of purposes for friendships and community and fellowship. But are they serving you? And is this friendship serving them and serving you? Like, that's really, I think, what it has come down to, and I think I've been through a lot in friendships of good and bad in the last few years, especially the last 5 years, I was
going to say, you yourself have. I think you've really grown in friendships, but also in the last 5 years, you've been able to walk through it with your kids.
Yeah.
Like, you've had a lot of changes in friendships, but I think that also too, like you've been able to help your kids navigate some of the things and changes, and I think that's definitely something you've.
It's been really cool. I've actually used my recent friendship issues and things that I've walked through with the kids and what they're going through right now. Like it's very parallel, like.
Funny how God does that.
It really is. And there's so much of like healthy boundaries, and we only have 24 hours in a day and only so much time to give to people. And you want that, first and foremost in your relationship with Jesus, and then in your marriage, and then for your kids, and then for your friends, you know? And I think there's so many seasons in my life where I think friends became at the top of that. And that really threw off the balance a little bit. And I think our kids need that reminder. And we just had that with our middle two who are in middle school, whose lives just want to be revolved around friends. And I'm like, okay, school started. We have, school's our priority. Our sports are our priority. Our work is our priority. And then what's left is friends. Like, sorry, but
you also get to see your friends for 8 hours. Yeah. I mean, like, you get to cross the paths with, which is more than what we can say as adults. Yeah. Like, hey, we don't get to just hang out with our friends all day. I mean, most of the time. So, but no, it's definitely, I think we forget that friendship is an intentional thing, and it's little things go a long way. But then also, like you said, is that like the time you invest in a friend is time taken away from something else. And does that value align with where your life is at the moment? And so, like, are you just having coffee with somebody to have coffee? Well, do we need that? Do you need that? Or is it, you can have coffee with somebody once every 6 months, and that's a better use of, then you're still there. You're still showing them love, showing them compassion, and then, being there.
You're making me think I have to look up the title of the book because I'm blanking, but you're talking about it, so I wanted to recommend it.
Oh.
The Ruthless Elimination of Hustle. Okay, and that is by, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. That's it. Yeah. By John Mark Comer. And we were talking about this book before, and you just said it, where your time's being spent. And we're just so consumed. And one of the lines from the book, it said, if the enemy can't make you sin, he's going to make you busy. And to kind of maybe transition a little bit from like friendship into just you and I, and what this summer has been like, more specifically for me and you recently with going off social media, time is mine again. And that is something that if you were to ask me, and if you still ask me today, like, how are things, like, they're busy, but it's my choice of how I'm busy.
Yeah.
Like, it is not in distraction, which is what used to be for me with social media. And to go back to that, like, I've been on social media forever. Loved it so much because it connected me with everybody. It connected me with my, back home family, my friends, my
and you're an
college
Enneagram
friends
too. Like, so that is very much your jam. Like, I want to see I want to see
my people. I want to see my friends' kids. I want I want to share my life with you. Like, I I sought out so much on those apps that I had no idea that I did until I was like, I'm done. Now, God did, because he convicted me over and over and over to get off of social media. And I tried 3 times before I actually went off on June 1st. And our church does a lot of, we do one in January and we do one in August, prayer and fasting. And one of the times, and I don't know if it was this year in January or if it was in last August, but recently I tried to go off of it. And I thought, you know what, I'll just take it off my phone and then just log on like our laptop or computer when we need it for, say, podcasting or, my Plexus business or whatever. And I just decided in that time that I'm like, okay, this isn't working for me. I'm falling behind. It's causing extra work. So, well, to make my life easier, I should just stay on it.
Right.
That I just kept having an excuse to get back to it. And I think I started thinking about it. So I go back to January. I started reading the Bible in a year, which I just finished my 30th book of the Bible today.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's amazing. Like, I am just so full and so free right now. I can't even tell you how much.
This is
awesome
the Bible in a year recap.
Yes, Bible in a year recap, the Bible recap with Tara Lee Cobble. And every morning I have my time with the Lord and I'm reading the word and it's causing me to be so curious and excited to learn more. And I'm seeking out even other studies and just am doing so much more. So that's great. But when I was doing all that, there was times where I'm like, I would get on and I would like battle. Do I do my Bible or am I going to sit here and scroll for 30 minutes? And I'm like, wait a minute, I've committed to this. Like, I prayerfully committed to reading the Bible in a year. I started in October last year praying about it because I'm like, this is what I want. I've always wanted this. This is what my heart has desired, but I have allowed other things to take away, to fill it. And it could be just sitting in my chair. I get up every morning. I'm a morning person, grab my coffee, and I have my phone. And instead of clicking on the Bible app, because I listen to it while I read it, I battled with it. So I decided, you know what? I'm gonna make the commitment. So spring break came and I went off social media, just like took a little break. And I was like, I'm doing it. Like, this is going to be what I do. However, I was like, okay, we're going to finish the podcast season. We finished in May. And I'm like, I'm just done. And I will say there were so many reasons. The biggest reason was because I felt that my time and energy wasn't where I wanted it to be in my home. I couldn't get things done that I wanted to do. It just became more than what it needed to be.
There was not enough time in the day and you were figuring out what was taking up, where that time was.
Yeah.
You were taking inventory of your time.
Yes. And then so from March to May, I was like, okay, I am going to like decrease my time because I'm going off anyway. Why do I need to be on it X amount? I don't even remember what it was. So I started like just decreasing and I'd look at my my screen time and I'm like, okay, I'm going less, which fine. But the feeling that I was having was still, and I don't want to say comparison because I wasn't like that. I wasn't comparing what someone else was doing or someone else was involved in, but I love information and I love learning. And so I would get on and I'm like, okay, I want to go to this account. I want to follow this. I want to read this article. I want to see what this is. And I would just get on. And so I was on less time, but then I was like more anxious about what I wanted when I was on it.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, I want to know, like I follow a lot of political people. I follow a lot of like hormone women, like doctors, natural healing, like recipes. I have these 2 ladies that like, I love the recipes. So I would go on and the one thing I miss is all my saved reels of all the recipes and like things that I would have in my little folder that I would. Guess what, guys? It's on Pinterest too.
Yeah,
there's another way to find it. There's recipes everywhere. You don't need them from Instagram. But those were the things I was doing. I'm like, okay, I'm addicted even to not just being on it. It's the information that I'm receiving from it.
Yeah.
And the learning. Like, I love that. But hello, I can learn 1,000 other ways, And so that was like the second thing. Now, the third biggest thing and the reason that has just really, really helped me stay off of it is because I'm trying to model for my kids my expectations for them.
Yeah.
And man, my phone is still in my hands all the time. Guys, it's right here on Do Not Disturb, but it's here. It's like we all have an attachment and a relationship with our phone. and the majority of them are very unhealthy. It is something that we all have to figure out what our healthy balance is. And it took me 2 weeks to not open up my phone and go, like, literally go to the corner in the folder of where all my apps were, just that like box.
Yeah.
Took me a long time. It subconsciously, I'm like, I don't even want it. I'm not even thinking about it, but like scroll, tap, like what the heck?
Like when you're waiting somewhere and then you're just like, I'm going to look at my phone.
Yeah.
Like how many pickups, that number always is terrifying.
That's a lot too.
Yeah.
And so slowly but surely I stepped away. And then I'm like, all right, now if you're going to step away from something that takes time, you have to fill it with something healthy. Otherwise, you go from one addiction of scrolling to another. And so I'm like, okay, my first priority, like just in my own, I'm like, I want to clear out these emails. I want to organize my, my pantry, I literally just started making all these things, and that became my summer. And so literally I had 14,000 emails, I think.
Unread?
Unread.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And we had about 300 in our Unlikely account. So I started with mine, and I went through it few at a time, 20 at a time, then I had 200 at a time whenever I was sitting there. And I deleted what I knew I didn't need, granted, like easy ones. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to come back to that. And then I was like, is this something that I want or not? And I unsubscribed.
Yeah.
I did all that. And then I just created like a flagged folder of what was important with the kids, like, and what I needed to save or travel plans or whatever. And now every single day I have 15 emails, and I check them and they're gone, and I'm not overwhelmed. I read every email from school again, maybe not on time, maybe I missed something. Not perfect.
Right.
Progression over perfection. Okay.
Yes.
But that has really changed. Like, that has been the biggest thing for me. And I did it through our Unlikely emails too. And now we don't have
that. And I'm very thankful.
Yeah, I know. So, I mean, it's just, it has been such a blessing. My summer was going to be off. And a lot of people asked me, am I going back? And I was like, no, I have zero desire to. My pastor had an incredible series that he did over the summer. And I go to Radiant Church if anybody wants to go find this series. And it was about media fasting. It was absolutely incredible. And one of the things that he said was, what's your, just finding out what your purpose is. There's some people who work on there. There's some people whose influencers on there. Absolutely. Like, there's some that cannot walk away, and totally get that. And so that's where, is it a healthy relationship or unhealthy relationship? But afterwards I went up and talked to him, and I said, you want to know one of the coolest things? Like, he'd brought it up, and I just wanted to solidify that his message was yes, so good, was that one, we as parents need to model what our expectations for our kids. It's like parents who say, I'm not giving my kids a phone until they're in high school, and then they're on their phone 24/7. The minute they get their phone, they can have expectations of being on their phone 24/7. Like, it's just modeling behavior. But the other thing is I was like, I have way less photos and videos because I'm living in the moment more, and I don't need them to post them. Now, I still take pictures and videos of my kids and moments and things, but I so less have my phone in my hand for a game or a whatever. I'm going to try to catch a goal here and there or an up to bat, but it's not every time. And it's just different. I'm so much freer. I can't even tell you.
I love that. And that's something that I have noticed. And so I got off of social media, the last week of August, I think. And I got off because, if you follow me or not, I'm not shy by any means on my viewpoint and encouraging others to speak boldly and unapologetically towards biblical and biblical worldviews. And so I use the platform for that. And I have a lot of people that would follow me and would specifically, because my routine was to take my pups to the dog park and then walk and hold and do a story and share, what God had put on my heart that day. And I was nudged lovingly by a couple of business partners that we have in our print shop. And they just said, you've got to be careful because a lot of our current customers, because when we bought the print shop, it was pre-existing. We didn't start from scratch. We took on a business. And a lot of our are not necessarily agree with us worldview. And so I made the decision that, yes, like I did use social media for the podcast. I use social media for our Plexus business. I would use it for the print shop even too. But yes, I definitely used it. I used it to connect and get into people's, make connections and meet people, or, I mean, like you said, following activists or causes that matter to me that I want to stay on top of and know and watch. And God put it on my heart, like, you got to deactivate it. And so I didn't just remove it from my phone and the apps and stuff like that, but I deactivated it. So you can't actually see like my 2 previous accounts that were on there. And the reason that God convicted me to not just get off, but to deactivate and not be on at all is because I couldn't be a hypocrite. I couldn't all of a sudden stop posting and sharing and encouraging others to be bold and speak out and not be doing it myself. So by removing myself from the platforms, I'm not on them, but you still meet me, and in person, I'll have a conversation with you all day long. Yeah. I always joke, my cup says it. My purse will say something. My shirt will say something. My hat, my car. Something about me will very clearly tell you where I stand biblically and politically. And so, but I have those conversations in person. And I'm not afraid to have those conversations in person. I encourage people to have those conversations. So that is why I stepped away. But back to the photo thing is that we went on vacation for a week, and that was something else that I noticed. Like, I wasn't taking 1,000 photos. I was more, I didn't take videos of just needless things or B-roll or this will be good to post, or I can put a song to this and stuff like that. Like, it was just, my phone was, and I look back and I'm like, wow, I actually only had 1 selfie. Like, that's something else that's like, you don't realize that was what you spent your time on. I think for us, that has definitely been a good thing. And just to keep you guys updated, Unlikely Housewives is still on social media.
We may or may not have someone running our account. We don't know.
Right. We're figuring that out.
On that.
We're figuring that out as we go.
However, we realize that is not what makes us, right?
Right. Yes. It's the sharing. It's you guys, when you guys text a friend and say, hey, you need to listen to this episode.
Yes.
I mean, whether we're on social media or not, doesn't matter. God's going to use this however he wants to.
Yep.
And he will do that when it hits you and says, hey, share this with so-and-so, or someone needs to hear this, or somebody just happens to cross upon it. But so you still will see us there. Yeah. You can also go to our website. We're going to work on having an email list. So for things that come up or announcements, celebrations, anniversaries.
Because we have learned now, not being on social media, I signed up for certain things that I wanted to make sure I didn't miss for deadlines or a registration for something or whatever. I had to, go back and subscribe to some of those emails that I had unsubscribed.
Right. And you realize you're like, wait, I'm not getting that. Why am I not? Or
email is still going to exist for me.
Yes. Right. And I think that's too. Or the text message thing. I think that's
I have done a few of those too.
Yeah. But I think that this is a great starting point for what this season is for us and for you, our listeners. I mean, you're not who you used to be, and that's okay. Yeah. You're not who you used to be yesterday. You're not who you used to be in May. And maybe you haven't had a major shift between now and the last time. Maybe it's a minor thing. Maybe you've started a new habit. Maybe you've started a new healthy choice. Maybe you've started a new business. Maybe it's just something minor, but it's going to grow you. It's going to stretch you, and God is going to use it in unbelievable ways that you've never saw coming.
Yeah.
And you just have to let him do it. Like when you just say, okay, God, here I am, use me. And it sounds so counterproductive for both of us to be off of social media.
It's so weird.
It's like, no, like you want to be an influencer. You want to have, what is your followers and da-da-da-da-da. And both of us are like, nope. God's not going to use that the way for us. So we'll just figure it out.
Yep.
So,
and we kind of want to give you just a quick glimpse here before we sign off for today of the season, though, because we're kicking off, launching, obviously, our season 4, and this is going to run all the way through May. Again, that's our plan, but who knows?
Yes, we do leave that open.
We leave it open.
We plan on this season being 35 episodes.
Yep.
So we, throughout the school year, to keep you guys going during those carpool pickups and drop-offs. And
we have, many similar episodes that we've had before talking about, parenting, and we got a special episode with a parent who has an adventurous child who's climbed
El Capitan at the age of 8.
Yeah. Sit on that, would you?
Yeah.
That's so courageous and amazing. We're going to have therapists on here talking about anxiety and ADHD. And we're going to continue talking about motherhood, marriage.
Yes.
Those conversations are constant in here.
We have a guest. We have an author coming on that's going to talk about what a family-friendly job looks like and what God has designed for that.
Yeah,
which I'm really excited about. And then, and just topics that have meant something to you guys. We got a couple of suggestions for a counselor that specifically deals with narcissism.
Oh, yeah.
And an invert narcissist and versus a covert narcissist. Like, so that's something that we're, so if you have suggestions of people that you would love to hear from,
ask us.
Send us an email, or if you've send us a text, whatever, or write it in the sky. We'll see it, of who you want, or what information you guys want more info on. And because this is for you, and this is for God's glory, and to help other people feel like you're not alone
and navigate their change.
Yes. Yes. Because it's always going to happen.
Yeah.
Always. Yes.
You got to embrace it.
Right. Not transition, but change.
Oh, I know, change.
Change. We're all changing together. That does sound weird, though. But,
we're all in this together.
Yeah.
I can't come up with that one.
Yes, I know. I've seen it, High School Musical 1,000 times. But also something new that we're hoping is some videos for you guys. And so it's just going to be so you can actually put some faces to voices, which is exciting.
And the doggies that are always interrupting us.
Yes. So you will get to see the special guests that wander through and try to unplug our stuff as we go. But yes, we're happy to be here. We're excited. We hope you guys are. And God be the glory that we are still here.
Yes. So, until next week, housewives, have a good week.
Until next time. Bye.